Wow, that's so amazing. I think we're live. Sabrina, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. That was an amazing intro video. Wow.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. You have no idea. I was looking forward to this day.
Likewise.
Really great, really good. Well, I just wanted to. I met you a couple of weeks ago on Clubhouse, and I don't know what happened that day. I wasn't actually meant to be on Clubhouse, and I just joined the Clubhouse Saturday morning after my work, and I heard your son spoke. And I was like, oh my God. And he was telling me all of these climate change issues, Tanzania. He spoke so well. And then he said, oh, actually, I'm going to get my mom in. I said, who's the mom? Who is the mother of this child? And I said, I have to talk to her. And you joined into, I was moderating the room with my friend Peggy. And then you joined the room. I mean, honestly, the whole day, I was like, I need to talk to Sabrina. I need to make sure people knows about Sabrina. It's so unusual. Within my network, I want to make sure people really sees, women with power, with influence. You are a mother of beautiful children. So I just wanted to invite you today so we can have a chat, and you can tell people who you are and why do you dare to be visible, and just amazing work you're doing. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.
I really thank you for having me here. I remember that day so clearly because it was a Sunday afternoon or evening. And I remember that Paolo was next door in the kitchen and I was like, what are you up to? And he said, all this was going on. So we were relaxing. So it was super amazing to jump on with that surprise. So without further ado, my name's Sabrina Ben Salmi. I'm a mother of 5. And as a family, we're called the Ben Salmis. So our value proposition is very simple. We want to transform the narrative around parenting. I really want to whisper to the ears of parents the amazing journey they can go on when they realize they are stewards of amazing young souls who have vision, who have a seed inside of them that is just waiting to burst out. And like you said, I dare to be visible because I want my story to inspire others to just follow their own dreams.
No, absolutely. This is why tomorrow we're celebrating International Women's Day. And I think that, my network need to hear from you. So if there is anything I can do to make sure they hear your story. But let me ask you a couple of questions. Why you are a beautiful mother, as I said earlier, powerful woman in the work you do, but also, you have intelligent young children. And I can see you spend a lot of time grooming them, mentoring them, supporting them, guiding them. I love the songs you sing together, the unity of the family. I really love that. When I was growing up, I didn't have this unity, this family bonding. So I respect women who take care of their children. Why do you think it is essential to give visibility to young people? Why do you do this?
I think it's so important. I really love the question that you asked me pre-interview about dare to be visible. Inside of the womb of every female is the seed for tomorrow's nation. And I think we have to really stretch that out to the young men and women. So when I looked at my children, I had to realize that I wasn't raising my son or raising my daughter. I'm raising someone's husband, someone's father, someone's mother, someone's wife. And I had to realize very early on that I need to get out of their way. I need to steward them, but not bend them so much that they forget their own essence. And I think that's the exciting part of parenting.
No, that's very true. I've seen that. I've seen that and then they all. What I was impressed about is they all have something they believe in.
Yeah.
Like each of them have something they believe in. I was listening to Paolo, and then I listened to I think Layla, and I was like, what? It was really beautiful because each of them have their own individualities. They speak very well. I was really impressed, really. To do that. So, how is your day to day? Can you talk about a little bit about the children, their names, who they are, and what they're working on right now?
Yes. My eldest is 20 now. Her name's Lachey Ben Salmi. She's working on a project with the Korean Culture Center. It's their second big event that's actually sponsored by the Korean government. She speaks Korean. She's a YouTuber. She is into videography and photography, and she's all about stepping stones. So she has her own publishing house called Stepping Stones and her own Stepping Stones series. And it's really talking about the identity of us women. And that's near and dear to my heart because if we don't have that as young as possible, we lose it or we try to gain it for others. We then have Trey Sean. Trayshawn Ben Salmi, who's 16. He's everything numbers, trading, investing.
Data.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, I saw that.
Exactly. He loves numbers. He was actually recognized as one of the top 20 smartest kids here in the UK for 2017. He has his own publishing house called Influencer Publishing, and he has his own book series of the same essence. You then have Yasmin Ben Salmi as our lovepreneur. She has her own publishing platform called The Choice Is Your Publishing. She is all about love and forgiveness and how forgiveness can really set us free to live the life that we deserve. Then we have Paolo, who actually got us on the call. He's 11. He is all about adventure, breaking.
He's 11. 11.
He is an interesting soul. He's all about adventure, breaking the rules, expanding the boundaries, exploring. He's just planted 10,000 trees out in Tanzania. He's all about reforestation, being out in nature. So he was not so much, well, I guess it was an addiction. With friends, they used to be addicted to gaming. Done some research, and he realized what he was missing out on by sitting in front of a screen all the time, whereas now he's created some balance so he can do both. And then you have little Amir. He's 7. He has his own publishing house called I Am Publishing, his own book series called Because I'm Intelligent. One of his latest books is called Because I'm Intelligent, I Become What I Affirm. He is the youngest STEM ambassador for honorary ambassador for Bruno University. And we have, I love the question about what's our day-to-day life like. Thank God for diaries. Thank God for diaries. It keeps us in sync. But we're just like an ordinary family. And I know people say you're not, we are. The only difference is that I've actually just wanted them to publish their material. So all kids write stories and all kids draw pictures. The only difference we've done is starting to publicize them and share them with the world.
It's really fascinating you said that, because I think that's what I liked about you guys actually creating content. And I love that. I hope one of the kids can come and publish my book, Sabrina.
Oh, yeah.
Please tell them to come and help me. But, it's really fascinating, the content they were writing, and then I felt so aligned with the children, the affirmations, the singing. I love Paolo with his climate change activist. It was just really, really beautiful. But did you have this sort of childhood yourself? How did you, I also heard about your mother. Can you tell us a little bit about your strategy? Did you have this sort of, someone taking care of you as a child?
Yeah, so very in a nutshell. So my childhood was the opposite. I love that at the start when you shared that, is that sometimes all of the essence is birthed out of our pain. So when I was conceived, my father's Nigerian and my mother's St. Lucian. So the moment of my conception became a problem for both sides of my family. There was no blessing for their marriage their relationship to continue, and it wasn't on the books for them to marry. Both families said no. So I was raised in that level of turmoil. So I had a lot of lack of self-worth, lack of self-confidence, identity issues. On one side of the family, my nose was too broad, it was too big. I was too dark, I was too westernized for the other side. So there was a lot of this conflict growing up. So pretty much as a young child, very early on, everything around me was saying to me I wasn't worthy for love, I wasn't important, I wasn't valued, my opinion. So I grew up thinking, what on earth is my life? What's the meaning of my life? What is it? And when I became a mother, it was mixed feelings. Don't get me wrong, I was really happy, but part of me felt like, am I going to let this child down? My eldest daughter, when I held her, I thought, how on earth can I be entrusted with life? I'm going to ruin her life because I felt unworthy. And it wasn't until I was 31 that I started to reinsert myself back into my life. So, the childhood was very, very isolated. I grew up with just my mum. My mum was a single mum. My father would travel, very absent, virtual father, very much into his male children. So I was told very early on that I'm a woman. I'm going to go off and marry. So no point wasting anything on me. It was an interesting upbringing. I had also some serious childhood illnesses, which actually meant that I was announced to be dying quite soon. And then when they felt if I did survive, I could become brain dead and my mum should put me up for adoption. So childhood was such a painful process. Definitely some beautiful moments. There's always things that show up. But that really shaped the essence of how I wanted to parent my children, what I wanted them to know Like, I wanted them to know they were loved, they were worthy, they were important, their opinions mattered, what their thoughts were important. So that's really where all that essence really ties in.
Wow, it's really fascinating you said that, because I can relate to your story. I can relate to that, and that's why I have so much love and respect for you, because I'm today 46 years old, and I can definitely understand what you're talking about, the lack of identity, having issues. But what I also love about you is the fact that you actually writing your own story, right? You are you know how to articulate it. You become an author. You writing books, helping the children to write their own books. Why do you think telling the stories like yours and like mine, like so many women out there who don't dare to be visible, who don't tell their stories? We hear the same stories every single day, but authentic women like you who actually made it, right? You just didn't wake up and be where you are today. You actually fight very hard to be here today. So why do you think it's important to write books and tell our stories? Can you share that with our audience?
Like, yeah, I can't stop. My eyes keep leaking. You're making me so emotional talking about all this. I absolutely love your hashtag, Dare to Be Visible. And that really touched me in such a deep way, because I had to think hard and long and very deeply, how can I make my life have meaning? And I really encourage anyone who's listening to this to realize that we all have a story to tell. Most of us have several stories to tell, okay? So this platform is absolute. I'm in love with everything you're doing. So just really, I take my hat off to you and your team. But really, in my story, it was a case that I wasn't willing to fail. I knew that, see, my faith is everything for me. So I knew that God did not create me for no reason. So perhaps people didn't know that around me, but I was going to go on a quest to find out. And my relationships became very controlling. I kept on entering into places where it always ended up being an essence of control. One of the things that people don't know about me is I'm actually diagnosed with some learning disabilities. I actually have dyslexia as well. So daring to be visible was all about me saying that I'm enough. Accepting me for who I am, my so-called good, bad, and ugly side, and realizing that it's all of that that makes me who I am, but also you as the viewer and the listener, it makes you who you are. So my goal to be visible really became that if I'm dyslexic, why don't I just write a book? It might not be perfect, but let's just get it done. Guess what? Let's do something else. Let's start owning something. How about I set up a publishing house? How about I give people the ability to see that it doesn't matter who you are, because someone somewhere is going to need to hear your story. And because I see us as interconnected, unique pieces to the puzzle, I believe that every single person counts. Why? Because when you complete a puzzle and there's one piece missing, would you agree that you're going to go like, you're not satisfied, right? There's a gap. You're not going to display, you're not going to tell everyone. You're always going to speak about that gap. And I feel that when we're not allowing ourselves to share our story, we're leaving gaps in life. We're stopping that chance, or what I call a God incidence, of meeting someone and sharing something that could have inspired someone to go on and share further. So really, my essence to share wasn't so much about becoming an author. It was about giving myself permission to just be myself. And I think it's so important for women to just give themselves permission to be themselves, because people laughed at me, people that knew me and so-called friends and family said, oh, how's a dyslexic person going to write a book? And I allowed myself to go on a journey, and I really invite you to do the same. Really dare to be visible.
Wow. It's really, it's fascinating, because I just love you so much, and I've got a lot of respect for you, because I heard you on the Clubhouse, and sometimes, it's not enough when you just hear people speaking on the Clubhouse, but, and then I said to my team, we have to have Sabrina, because she has so much to say. But also I heard, we always say, your children, their children are your mirror. So, and when I heard them speak, and I just knew, as a mother myself, my son is 20 years old, and I know how hard it is to be a single mom, to be a Black woman, to not have enough money, not to have so many things that people are taking for granted. And then you manage to not only do that, but also you get the children to write their own stories, and each of them, and I can, my hat off to you, each of them have their own individualities. I can see them going so far because of the blessing you have. Let me talk about your mother a little bit. She's also a beautiful woman. I heard her talking on the Clubhouse. How is she doing? You know, she's also a very wise woman. Do you think her wisdom helps you be who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, you know, a lot of the success that I went after was to give something back to my mum. My grandmother was a teenage pregnancy, so she was pregnant at 19, gave birth at 20. The same happened with my mum. The same happened with me. And I wanted to actually break that cycle. So I went to university just for her. So people could stop saying, she won't make it to university, she's dyslexic. And, you know, there's so much that she had to go through because I went through a lot of adversity. I really put my hands up for those married lone parents, because people sometimes misunderstand that that's a journey as well. And often they can't speak. And it doesn't mean, you know, sometimes we have to say things about our parents. It doesn't mean we don't like them. We have to say things about our partner. But sometimes we have to give people a safe space to be honest. So I was a single mother of two. And in 2006, I got married, but I entered into a marriage that became very, very toxic. But one of the things that I grabbed from that was really the desire to actually heal relationships with families. I felt that it's not about just women separating and moving off. And don't get me wrong, there are some situations which are life-threatening, seek help. But what I mean is that it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to create happiness in families. So without the correct infrastructure, people are going through hell. I was one of them. I was in a dark place. So a lot of what I do, my mum's an artist. She's a furniture designer maker. I saw a young woman and I saw her life ripped away from her. I saw her watch a little child who was going to die walk feebly through life, and everyone was throwing and casting stones and all kinds of things on her. So I thought to myself, one day, my vision for my mum is to actually open up a gallery for her so she can live her dreams. You know, parents have their dreams too. And I love what you said, being a parent is not easy. It hasn't been easy, but it's definitely been worthwhile. We walked through darkness, our darkest days actually became our biggest triumph, because they tried to bury us, but they didn't realize we were seeds.
You are right. You know, it's fascinating you said that, because I remember watching an artist, a Ghanaian woman, who was saying that, you know, she's lived in the UK. Her mother is from Ghana, but she, in her 20s, when she was like 25 years old, she really started to realize how hard her mom worked. Right? They live in a council house. You know, the mom was working hard, going to work for the NHS every single day, but putting food on the table. She was a single mom. You know, and she really took her parents for granted. But at one stage, she realized, oh my God, I'm now a star. I can get anything my mom wants. But my mom really went through difficulty. And I think tomorrow, as we celebrate International Women's Day, I really want to make sure that women who are behind the scenes, not being seen, not being heard, but doing extraordinary work like you, because I would think if your children are not being heard, you know, I would not rest until, you know, Paolo is being heard, you know, and your daughters. I could not just allow myself this, and that's why I'm so passionate for you to be here. But let me talk a little bit about your writing, right? The stuff you write all the time. Tomorrow we're gonna, again, as I said, we're gonna celebrate women who are not being seen. What do you want women to read about you? What are the key things you would like them to hold on into as we go through this month to empower women? What do you want to say to them?
One of the key things I really want women to reflect on, I'm speaking to mothers primarily for a very different reason, because as women, we become everything to everyone and nothing to ourselves. So one of the things that I really write about consistently is life is a journey of market research, and what we choose to do with it is up to us. So sometimes you think, well, I've got several children. I don't know where to go.
That's very powerful. Aha moment over time. That's powerful. That was powerful.
It's like sometimes we put so much pressure. There's so much pressure on parents. I remember as a mum, until I just said, that's it, I had enough. But as a mum, it's, you're never good enough. Are you doing this right? Well, you didn't do this. And you constantly having to please the kid. You're constantly having to prove to the world that you're a good parent. If the child screams or cries, you're a bad parent. If they're laughing, you're a good parent. And one time I said to someone, I said, why am I a good parent if my child's laughing all the time? You see, if I teach my child for me to be the root of all their happiness, and they bounce up and down in emotions and expect me to keep them happy, there's something wrong there. That's not a healthy child. You see, I'm there for them when they cry. I have to give them a hug, because life's like that sometimes. But I find that there's so much weight on the shoulders of parents, and it's not okay. So one of the things I wish someone said to me is, give yourself time. You don't have to do it overnight. I see many women giving birth and going back to work. I put my hands up. I was one of them. Okay. I gave birth. I went back to work. I gave birth to my second child. I went back to work, back to uni. Stop. When is your hibernation? You see, sometimes in our quest for success, it's not in the doing, and it's in the being, and is in the knowing. When is your hibernation? Please, because I realize that people say, "What are you doing next?" And don't get into that. If it feels right, flow. If it doesn't feel right and it's not in alignment, just say nothing much. I'm just being. Give yourself permission to be. Just like just like you say, you know, dare to be visible. Give yourself permission to just be. You don't have to do anything. All you're sharing with the world is your true essence. You might like to paint. You might like to walk in nature. Whatever it is, allow yourself to share that with others, and that's it. Because I remember wanting to achieve so much and write so much and be so much and comparing. And in just 15 minutes a day, that's what changed my life. It was going to the window and saying a gratitude prayer that has stuck with me for the last 14 years of my marriage. And it's very simple. I look into the sky and I say, thank you, God. And I said, no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I am, and no matter who I'm with, I will acknowledge your constant gaze on me, guiding me, lifting me, growing me, expanding me. And I'm telling you, if you just say something along the lines of a rampage of appreciation to whoever you call your creator, something will start to ignite in you. 15 minutes reading a book, 15 minutes watching something that's motivational. You don't have to do it overnight. Rome wasn't built overnight. Give yourself time, please.
Today is a church day. Sabrina, honestly, you know, it's really the only thing I was going to ask. Honestly, it's really amazing. I mean, we have not even heard everything you just have to say, literally. But you know, where can we find the book? And you know, you have a talk show. Do you mind just sharing people where they can find? Where can they find you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. On all those platforms, there is a link tree that goes to my book. My book's available on Amazon. It's available worldwide. And if you type Sabrina Ben Salmi into any search engine, a host of different contact opportunities will come up. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute
It's a lovely name, by the way, Sabrina Ben Salmi. Tell us about the name. I love the name. Can you just tell us
Oh, bless you. Yeah. So I was born Sabrina Paul. My dad changed my name to Olajimi, but my surname is Tunisian, North African. My husband's Tunisian. Yeah.
It's a noble, you know, it's a noble name. It's a noble name. Ben, yeah, you know, because every time there's a Ben in something, it's really beautiful. You know, Sabrina, you and I can talk until tomorrow. I'm gonna have you back on the podcast because I think the world should really hear you. But it is an absolute honor, honestly, to get to know you, to you know, share your life journey. And I really wish everyone can go on your platform. I'm gonna work with your children for sure. They are my friends now.
I cannot wait. They're talking about you and Peggy.
I'm gonna work with them. Definitely. But we see you tomorrow. We're gonna share your video tomorrow again with everyone. Thank you so much, Sabrina Ben Salmi, for being here. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Bye.